Hi, and welcome to the Ambient iPad. Let's make some music. So this episode is going to be a little bit of a continuation of last time where we had one synth and a bunch of different effects. We played the notes on the lower part of the keyboard and had Rosetta particles triggering the high notes. So I'd like to flip that around so that we're playing the high notes this week and triggering the low notes with Rosetta particles. Let's bring in a new synth. I'm still going to use the same matrix even though we're not going to be using the same sounds. Maybe we'll use the reverb. So I like to use an instrument that I don't use that often at all. It's made by apeSoft, who also makes apeMatrix, and it's called Mood. It's kind of in the vein of a traditional analog synth. Let's connect and show. And I neglected to hook up an external keyboard, so actually let's see if we can do this with the on-screen keyboard. But here's the default sound. Those effects are part of this initialize patch. You know, your traditional analog modeling. I have a preset that I did make this week, if I can find it. Done. Let's hear what this is. No effects. So this sound changes a bit when you hold it, so bear with it. All right, so that's our core sound. Let's bring some effects in. And I already know what I'm going to use because I recently purchased 3 more Eventide apps, taking advantage of an Eventide sale. I got more of the pitch-based sounds, the harmonizing sounds, kind of your really traditional classic Eventide sounds from their rack mount systems in the 70s. So MicroPitch is one. I better bring I have to keep the synth up though. So let's keep the synth up, and actually let's switch these around. We're gonna have to choose. There we go. MicroPitch. Did I say micro synth before? I meant MicroPitch if I did. All right, let's hear what this does. So you can hear a little bit of a chorusing, a little bit of a doubling effect. This has got a couple of channels of pitch, a couple of voices of pitch, excuse me, some delay, and you can modify that. So it just opens up the sound, makes it a little bigger. This effect was used a bit in the 70s. A good example is David Bowie's Low album, the first track, Speed of Life. You can hear it on the drums. That doubling and that slight chorusing is a traditional Eventide harmonizing pitch effect. And actually, I'll bring some drums in to just demonstrate what that's like once we have all the effects up. Okay, so that's our first Eventide effect. And our next one, we're just going to have to keep moving stuff around here, is QVox, or QuadraVox is the traditional Eventide algorithm in their hardware. And this is 4 voices of pitch. Now I've created a preset for here. Let's choose that. You just can hear on the right, if you're listening on headphones, that the last pitch, there's a little delay there. All right. And finally, crystals, another classic Eventide algorithm. You can hear that high, it's almost an organ sound like, kind of a high-pitched. All right, that's not the kind of sound we want to use though. Let's turn these around. I did create a preset here, if I can get to it. There we go. So you can hear the kind of traditional crystal bit of the sound is actually in the low range now. Just a completely different type of sound from the initial one we played. But that's kind of the effect I wanted to go for. just want to go into these and make sure that we got the right thing set here, which we do. Let's bring everything back in. And we'll also probably use some of the black hole reverb too. Let's hear what the three of these sound like together. All right, let's bring it into the canyon with black hole. You'll hear that on the tail, the sound. Really big and expansive. Let's move down a little here. I want lower notes. Here we go. So a nice, big, expansive sound with some movement and interesting pitch things going on. So that's our core sound. Before we go on, I want to bring in some drums just to demonstrate that micro-pitch effect and also how you can use some of these pitch effects on drums. Let's just go with Axon 2. And I want a minimal kind of sound so you can hear the effects. Let's trigger this on and we'll go from there. Essentially, you got your hi-hat. That's going to get lost. This last patch, there, that's a good kind of nice percussion-y thing. All right, let's close out the preset manager. Let's move these around a little because we need to, here, let's make some space here. Let's just bring some of the effects in. You can hear what they sound like. Let's start with the micro-pitch. See here, kind of a doubling there, slight chorusing. Really the classic kind of Eventide harmonizer. Let's bring in the QuVox. Let's turn off the direct sound for a second. Let's go back to the micro-pitch. So you can really hear that doubling now. Let's bring in QuVox. So we're essentially quadrupling the sound now, but it's still subtle. And bringing in the direct sound just kind of brings it to life. And let's bring crystals in and see what happens. That's interesting. Big boots in the background. Very, very big, big open space. Let's add the reverb and take it into a canyon. All right, we're not going to need any of this. But you know what? I think we could use this sound. So I'm gonna change up what we're gonna do. So we're not going to use Rosetta particles. We're going to have that drum in the background. I have to turn some of this off though. I'm gonna turn those effects on in the mix, and we'll use them that way. But for now, so let's just have those drums going with QVox and micro-pitch. Let's see what we can come up with here. Turn everything off here. So let's try a live mix of all this and see what we can come up with. So you can make a lot of noise with just one synth and a few different effects. We used Mood by apeSoft for that analog style synth patch, and a few different Eventide pitch-based effects, as well as their black hole reverb. Thanks for watching. Please consider liking this video, subscribing to this channel, and good luck with your own music.